Thank you for joining in the 2 Pennies, the 2 Cents podcast. I'm your man, Nino. First of all, thank the man upstairs for opening my eyes this morning. Let me make another full day and make it back to my cubicle, my man cave, or my space. Please, everybody, click them like buttons. Please continue to keep them subscriptions coming. Them subscriptions, I appreciate y'all the fullest. To my fans, my followers, and my listeners, thank you, thank you, thank you. It's just a plus. I could not even fathom to think about doing none of this without you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate you staying down. Appreciate you staying loyal. Okay. These two teams probably are going to be the most talked about and instrumental or interesting teams talk about in the National Basketball Association. And the ironic thing about it is, people, they're not going to even win a championship. They're not going to even get to the finals or nothing. They're going to be possibly talked about for ages on what happened in February, the beginning of the beginning of February of 2025. I'm talking about the Los Angeles Lakers and the Dallas Mavericks. And I kind of think you know the people you can. I think I know people. I believe people you know what I'm about to get into. I think you know. So I'm not gonna be pea-footing around or lollygagging or nothing like that. I'm gonna get right into it. Because the interesting thing about it is, it was one of the most incredible, shocking, out of the blue, where did this come from, trades, supposed to be for superstar I ever seen or heard in my life ever since I've been watching professional sports, yada, yada, yada. I'm talking about Luka Doncic from the Dallas Mavericks in exchange for Anthony A.D. Davis of the Los Angeles Lakers. The night of February 1st going into the 2nd of 2025, the Anthony Davis-Luka Doncic trade was finalized. This had to have went down as the Basketball Association, the National Basketball Association, couldn't wrap their heads around it, couldn't believe what was going on. Luka Doncic, who, as people seen, was the face of the Dallas Mavericks, 25 years old, superstar. I'm talking about carried the team on his shoulders for years. I'm talking about straight up, possibly one of the top 5 players in the NBA. Luka Doncic. Anthony Davis, along with LeBron James, one of the mainstays of the Los Angeles Lakers. AD, he's not no chopped liver either. Big time. Hall of Famer, certainly, as well as Luka Doncic. What brewed, what formulated, how did this trade come about? Because it wasn't just a trade of, okay, we have superstars, so we want to just add pieces to our team. Because remember, both teams had a sidekick. Luka had the great Kyrie Irving, and of course, A.D. Anthony Davis had arguably one of the greatest basketball players of all time in the GOAT talk. I'm talking about in the GOAT conversation with one LeBron James, the all-time NBA leading scorer, all-time NBA leader in playoff games played. LeBron James, who is in his 20-plus year playing in the NBA, 40 years old. So, again, how did this trade come about? And we know the two people, key principals, who had to make this trade go down was Nico Harrison of the Dallas Mavericks, the vice president of the director of the president of player personnel, and of course we know Mr. Rob Pelinka, who runs things over there in LA of the Los Angeles Lakers. Anthony Davis, before the trade, was just asking, can I possibly get a little bit of help? You know, because the Lakers was trying to make a championship run. Again, LeBron is not getting no younger, even though he's defying evolution and everything else with how he's playing at an incredible high level at his age, and people wondering what's going on with LeBron. What water is he drinking? What food is he eating? Because he is still playing at an unbelievable level at the time of years that he didn't put in the NBA and his age. But Anthony Davis was saying that he wouldn't mind getting some help because, see, Anthony Davis truly is a four, a power forward. He's not a five, a center. So he was just asking maybe could he get some help? Maybe would the Lakers be interested in signing somebody before the trade deadline, bring maybe another center in or a big man alongside Anthony Davis, in which Anthony Davis was doing an incredible job of being a rim protector and defending the basket and blocking shots. Also, one of the best defensive players you will ever see at a power forward or a center position. But he just was asking, maybe could he get some help, you know, down low, because he's a natural four. He's not a natural five. And the Lakers was trying to build, again, they had already surrounded pieces with Finney Smith and Jared Vanderbilt. Of course, you know, Austin Reeves is also a decent player with the LA Lakers. So, you know, LeBron was figuring with probably Austin Reeves and him and Anthony Davis and put one more big clog in the middle to defend the rim along with Anthony Davis, they could shore up some of their mistakes and some of their vulnerabilities, and, you know, they could make a championship run. Now, switching gears to Dallas. Dallas had, along with Luka Doncic, the great Kyrie Irving, who some say may be the greatest ball handler, a wizard, a Harlem Globetrotter in the NBA. So that was your Batman and Robin. But the interesting thing about these people is that the Dallas Mavericks was already loaded down low, big down low. They had Daniel Gafford, they had Derek Lively III, they had P.J. Washington. They had rim protectors. So when I get off into this a little bit more, it was just interesting how this trade went down, because my whole deal with it was they shipped off Anthony Davis to the Dallas Mavericks, who was already loaded with big men. And then by subtraction, they also put the LA Lakers in a hole, because now their big man is now gone. He's no more with them. Anthony Davis was the biggest guy they had down low, chipping the height scales of maybe about 7 foot even. But Anthony Davis still wasn't big as some of the other big men that's playing the 5 spot. Also, the Lakers unfortunately failed to get the one kid that was from the Charlotte Hornets. They was trying to send off the young rookie they had picked up. I forgot what his name is. He came into the draft with Bronny James. The kid, he was pretty good, but anyway, they ended up getting him back. But anyway, the kid from Charlotte ended up flunking the exam, so they had to send them back. That trade didn't go down. So the Lakers end up, as you will see throughout the year, and as the year ends, playing small ball. They didn't have no main big man in the middle. But let's get back to this trade. Okay, Luka definitely was seen as going to be a full-time Dallas Maverick lifer. You could see Luka finishing his career with the Dallas Mavericks, ending as a Hall of Fame career with the Dallas Mavericks. Also, having a statue immortalized outside of the AAC. That's the American Airlines Center. That's the home turf or the home court where the Dallas Mavericks was playing. So to many people, and to even me, I didn't get this. People, when I first saw it off of social media, I thought it was a prank because you know how social media come with pranks. I remember even my son had called me and say, "Hey, Pop, did you see that trade?" And I'm talking about, yeah, but I just thought this can't be true because really they was giving up both teams main staples or main players, a main piece of the puzzle that they was trying to finish and make a championship run. So I didn't see that, but of course I know now the NBA, like NFL, is big business, and for you to get a Luka Doncic, you're going to have to ship off an Anthony Davis. Or for you to get an Anthony Davis, in return, you're going to have to give a Luka Doncic. So, I mean, it was just crazy. When the trade first went down, I gave my nod because everybody was asking, well, who you think will win when the trade go down between these two teams? Of course, both of them are going to be in the Hall of Fame. Both of them are great offensive players. But I gave the nod that the Mavericks would win by obtaining Anthony Davis because Anthony Davis is not only a superlative offensive player, but he's a heck of a defensive player. Again, he's a rim protector. He can block shots. He can alter shots. And he's a great rebounder. Now, we all love and we all honor Luka Doncic, but we know what one of his biggest deficiencies is. It was shown last year when the Mavericks made it to the NBA Finals and played the Boston Celtics. And of course, you know Boston has great defense, but Boston also has Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and you know a few more great people, you know, to play with them. So, but Luka was exposed because it's not his offense, because he's unstoppable on offense. He plays the game at his pace. We all know that. It's when the other team gets the ball and come down and on that end of the court when he has to play defense, because that's where he's exposed, because he's kind of like slow-footed. And it all has been said, a lot of this they believe if Luka would get in shape, but I believe Luka has never been a great defensive player. And he is a big guy, and I think he sooner or later he will get in shape. Now, I will say this about the Luka Doncic trade to the LA Lakers or the Los Angeles Lakers and playing with one LeBron James. It didn't come down this year because I think the trade was too late. Hopefully, the King will stay LeBron, and maybe they can try to run it back again and do it again and try to add more pieces to it. But I think if LeBron does stay and play with the Lakers again, because LeBron is not finna sit down. LeBron still got another year or possibly 2 or maybe 3. I mean, this man is over 40 years old, and this year I think he averaged 25, 8, and 8. He's still playing at a ridiculous high level. But I think LeBron will take his arm and put around Luka and say, look, man, I'm going to get you in a little bit of shape. I'm not expecting you to be, you know, lose a lot of weight and be perfect to slim down, but I'm going to get you in a little bit of shape. You need to train a little bit harder. You need to work, because also it was said that they believe a lot of the injuries Luka have that continuously be nagging because he don't get in shape. He just play basketball, and then I believe when Luka's done playing basketball, only time Luka is doing anything cardio or anything like that is when he's probably at practice and when he's playing the game. Luka probably goes home, plays Madden, chill, goes out, you know, party a little bit. Obviously, we seen him after one playoff series last year when Michael Finley had to come and nicely and abruptly take the beer out of his hand because Luka was sipping on an alcoholic beverage, a beer, after a victory. So we know Luka drinks, and that's not nothing wrong with that. But man, you have to train because, like I say, Luka's kind of a heavy guy. Plus, people believe that will help and stop some of the ailments that he continuously pick up through the year. And by the end of the year, and he's banged up real bad. But as I was saying, I was giving the Dallas Mavericks the nod on that because I think AD has a bigger body of work on both sides of the ball, where Luka Doncic has a great body of work on the offensive side of the ball. But, you know, his defensive side of the ball is something that's still, you know, it's out to the jury. We still don't really know. We know he will get exposed, and we know he's slow-footed, and we know that people will come at it. But I'm not saying, and I think the people are not saying, Luka, we expect you to just transform and be the #1 defensive stopper in the NBA. But if you train and you work on it and get yourself in better shape, you can be able to move your feet a little bit better. You maybe can take charges. You can be in position. It's a lot of people that became better defensive players. They didn't become great defensive players, but they became better defensive players. And at the start of their career, they was very dismal as a defensive player, but they worked on it. But a lot of it was because of their training. So, but I was wrong. Now, getting back to this, when I gave the nod to AD and going to the Dallas Mavericks over Luka to the Lakers. Because remember, when the news first broke, AD was injured. He was at home chilling with his family. If you remember, Luka was injured too. Luka had a strained calf, and he was out, I think, before the year was out. I think Luka got hurt seriously before the Christmas Day games and all that. He was out, I think, in November, and he was nursing that injury for a long time. He had a very bad lower calf strain that it took a long time healing. And again, calf strains are bad because I done seen people, I done seen LeBron have it, I done seen Draymond have it, I done seen Kyrie have it, I done seen a lot of people that I know work out and have it, and it takes a long time to come back. But if you're not working out and if you're not, your body is not strong and supple, and you're not conditioned, it's going to take even longer. But now let's get back to the AD and Luka Doncic trade. But I guess I had to eat my words because first, when Luka touched down in LA, he was still in disbelief, like all of us, millions of Americans and people in the world, because we still couldn't believe this. Luka had to believe that this was a dream. Somebody please wake him up, because he went from the Dallas Mavericks, the face of the Dallas Mavericks, all of a sudden he shipped out and he headed to the West Coast. He's finna team up with LeBron James. Now, we all know that Luka Doncic considered LeBron James one of his favorite players or one of his favorite NBA players when he was coming up as a kid. So maybe that was a dream come true of him getting to play with LeBron James. But you got to tell me no way Luka would believe that he would actually play with LeBron James. But Luka now is in LA. You know, first couple of games, he's still out of shape, but he's in disbelief. He's kind of like in a trance because he can't believe this is going down. So he finally had to get his legs and get his feet under him, because remember, Luka has been out for months, so he has to get back in basketball shape. The key thing in getting back into basketball shape, peeps, is you can practice and run all you want to. You can get on that treadmill, you can ride them stationary bikes, you can run them laps. But it's nothing like game time. It's nothing like actually going through the realization of playing. And so that's where he had to get back to doing that again. His first game or two, he was kind of off and slow-footed, but we all know Luka Doncic. He is a legit superstar, especially on that offensive end. And so he did get it going, and he started picking it up. Now, the biggest thing about that is the trade that sent Luka Doncic to the Los Angeles Lakers he's teaming up with LeBron James, you have two very ball-dominant basketball players, superstars. So that ball is only so big. So can it be enough to spread around for Luka, for LeBron? You can't forget AR, Austin Reeves. So how would this work? J.J. Redick, the coach of the Los Angeles Lakers, really had some sitting down, some thinking to do, some strategizing, some putting the pieces together, placing people in the right position and all that. But Luka slowly but surely started playing. He kind of let the game come to him. I like one thing LeBron did do. When Luka first started playing, LeBron kind of like deferred a little bit more and let Luka get his game going, showing that LeBron know his game can come, but we welcome the new kid on the block in Luka, so trying to make him feel comfortable and relaxed. And that was a great thing by the King. Even at times, you would see Luka would have his ball. He would have the ball in his hand more than LeBron has the ball in his hand. So LeBron is smart. Also, when Luka first got there, so everybody, the whole media in L.A. was just Luka, Luka, Luka. I also liked how LeBron deferred about this. Now, it could have been LeBron just being, a veteran and know how to play the game or know how to play the media and everything. Let Luka do all the talking. But it also was saying behind the scene, LeBron was really kind of hot because LeBron maybe see that his end is coming with the Lakers. That's why they went and got Luka Doncic, because you know one thing about LA, they always gonna try to keep not just a superstar, a top rising superstar. So maybe LeBron seeing himself eventually now finna ride off into the sunset. So now maybe he might be a little stressed out or maybe hot about that. But as I said, LeBron let Luka handle all the media. LeBron just walked off the court. Now, as I was saying too, the Lakers was on a run even before they got Luka. They was on a winning streak. They was doing their thing. But Luka got it going, started putting up some 30-point games, having like 8, 9 assists, playing bully ball like Luka does. Luka is only going to go so fast because he's so big and strong that he doesn't have to play at a fast pace. Luka plays bully ball, and I don't care what size you is. Luka will give you that shoulder and put it up, and it's on. So, right now, out of the two, Luka is benefiting the Los Angeles Lakers more than Anthony Davis is benefiting the Dallas Mavericks. Finally, Anthony Davis plays his first game. Everybody at the AAC, everybody in Dallas, the Metroplex is waiting. Anthony Davis finally is finna make his inaugural debut as a Dallas Maverick. Has a great game, superb game, excellent game. But we all know ADMO, and I love AD. We all know Anthony Davis, M.O. Y'all know what it is, Pete. You're right. Anthony Davis, he got hurt. I'm talking about, man, he got hurt. Anthony Davis, in his first game as a Dallas Mavericks, was stunning, was outstanding. But he suffered an injury. He suffered a pelvic abductor strain. Let me repeat that again. Anthony Davis suffered a pelvic abductor strain. That is kind of similar or in the neighborhood of a sports hernia. So, Anthony Davis, one game in with the Dallas Mavericks, is already sent back to injured reserve. He was diagnosed to be out 2 to 3 weeks. And don't you know, Kyrie and him didn't even get to play 2 full games together. Because as I continue, well, people, you know what happened, but as I continue, I will tell you what happened. But yes, Anthony Davis, a pelvic abductor strain, which is similar to a sports hernia, and now he's out 3 to 4 weeks. Now, people, this is in March. almost April or February. So now this is the tail end of the NBA season. You know, All-Star break has finna come and go. And really after All-Star break comes, that's when the NBA gets real serious, because now people are jockeying for playoff spots. You got 1 through 8 the seeds, but then now you have what? 9, 10, 11, or 12, I think 9 to 11, because they got that new format with the NBA play-in. So really, 1 through 11 has a chance to make the playoffs in either the Western Conference or the Eastern Conference. So there you go right there. But anyway, Anthony Davis out. So now Kyrie Irving, who was Batman, now he just got his Robin, because he lost his other Robin and Luka. But now him and Batman and Robin won't be able to take and save Gotham City. And I'm calling Gotham City the Dallas Mavericks because, of course, Robin is hurt. So now Kyrie Irving is on his shoulders to carry the Dallas Mavericks until possibly Anthony Davis comes back 2 or 3 weeks. Boy, the Mavericks' luck just get worse and worse. Kyrie Irving, who was playing out of his mind, I'm talking about having one of the best years he had in his whole career. Points, assists, steals, playing a lot of minutes, because he is definitely carrying the load in a game against Sacramento, try to split 2 defenders and tore his ACL. I'm talking about, and it was gruesome. He tore his left knee ACL. And Kyrie Irving is 34 years old. The great thing about that, and what Kyrie, you can tell he was mentored by the great Kobe Bean Bryant, because if y'all can go back and remember, when Kobe tore his Achilles back in the tail end of his career, and before he hopped off the court, he had to shoot free throws, which basically Kobe's on one leg, and the toughness and the resiliency of Kobe Bryant, he went up there and sank them 2 free throws. Kyrie Irving went to the line and did the same thing with tears coming out his eyes before he was taken to the locker room. The horrible thing about this is, usually the injury that Kyrie Irving sustained, it takes 2 years to come back from. Kyrie Irving's 34 years old. I'm not saying Kyrie can't recover, because he keeps himself in mint top physical condition. But will Kyrie Irving come back as the Kyrie Irving that we all know and love? That's the point I'm trying to say. So we only can see he's rehabilitating now. I think Kyrie, they said the project, his due date back is January 2026. I want to see, because I have seen some players come back and that was the same, a la Klay Thompson. But anyway, now, so the Mavericks' misfortune is just terrible. Anthony Davis is out. He's finna come back. They done lost Kyrie Irving. Really, the Mavericks season is gone, because Anthony Davis still out. And eventually, when he did come back, they was only able to play, in which they succeeded in getting and got into the play-in, but unfortunately, they was knocked out by the Memphis Grizzlies and Ja Morant, and that ended the Dallas Mavericks season. Last year, NBA Finals. This year, knocked out in the NBA play-in by Ja Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies. Jason Kidd also resigned as a Dallas Mavericks coach, so he's no more the Dallas Mavericks coach. Dallas Mavericks is now with new ownership, no more Mark Cuban, so we really don't know what the future of the Dallas Mavericks is, because I have heard the word on the street they might even be possibility moving the Dallas Mavericks. I think their new contract for the AAC is up in about 4 or 5 more years. I think a couple more years. I think 2027, 2029. So they are seriously contemplating where they're going to renew their contract. But I have heard these owners of the Dallas Mavericks are originating out of Las Vegas. So, you know, they thinking about maybe packing up and moving the Dallas Mavericks to Las Vegas and having a Las Vegas basketball team. So we will see. But back to the Luka Doncic and the Los Angeles Lakers and LeBron James. So the Lakers end up as the NBA season end, locking in the third place spot, in which they draw the Minnesota Timberwolves and Anthony Ant-Man Edwards and Julius Randle. Now, the Lakers was favored to win this series. I don't see how, maybe because they thought the Lakers had home field, but I knew there was going to be trouble because this is what I've been saying to my partners and everybody else. The Lakers can't go nowhere because small ball, you're not going to make it in the NBA. You only can win so much. You got to have a big man in the center of things. You need a center, and they never addressed that. So, and we also know Minnesota has big Rudy Gobert, which the problem arose, this as I had seen it, this is as ESPN analyst Kendrick Perkins had seen it. A lot of people thought the Lakers was going to win because LeBron was rolling, Luka was rolling, and the Lakers was balling. But, you know, it's a total different game when the regular season ends and then you go into that NBA playoff mode. Things are different. Games are officiated different. All kind of exotic defenses from opposing teams. But the Lakers end up first round series with the Minnesota Timberwolves, in which they lost 4-1. Minnesota ended the 2024-2025 Los Angeles Lakers year last night, beating them at Crypto.com 103-96, in which they won 4-1. LA was only able to win one game. Heroic performances by LeBron James. Luka Doncic took a real nasty spill in the game and hurt his back real bad. But I will give it to Luka. He's a real trooper. Because that kid back was hurting bad, and he still gutted out. And he still was playing, but Luka was hobbled bad. I'm talking about, if it wasn't the playoffs, we all know Luka when he even came back. I'm talking about Luka could hardly walk. He could hardly shoot. On his post-conference, at the post-conference after the game, after the LA Lakers lost, he had said that his back is still bothering. So LA ended up losing 4-1 to the Minnesota Timberwolves, which the prior pick before the series started was the Lakers in 5, but actually it was the Timberwolves in 5. And you know Anthony Ant-Man Edwards, I love that kid. He was quick to bring that up. They said the Lakers in 5, actually it was Minnesota in 5. So now LA year is over. Everybody wanted the head of Nico Harrison for getting rid of Luka Doncic. But I believe it's more to that than what you think it is. And people, you got to remember, it's not only on Nico Harrison. He's player personnel, but Nico Harrison has his bosses telling him. And you think the hierarchy didn't tell him what to do? See, Nico Harrison is the scapegoat. So now everybody wants to come at him and do away with him and get rid of him. Somebody has to have the scapegoat. But he was only doing what he was instructed to. My whole deal was, who really won out of the Luka Doncic Anthony Davis trade? You can say the Lakers won because Luka played more and performed better, but the Lakers got ousted and knocked out in the first round. They at home. The Mavericks got ousted and knocked out in the play-in. They at home. I still would love to have seen a healthy Kyrie Irving and a healthy Anthony Davis, AD, play a series of games together and see what the outcome of them games would have been. Now, so LA, if the year is over for the Lakers, what will LeBron James do? How they gonna put pieces around Luka? You know, will they keep LeBron and Luka and put new pieces around? LA definitely has to get a big man. People, now, y'all castrated Nico Harrison. The LA fans, are y'all gonna castrate Rob Pelinka and JJ Redick? Because JJ Redick still showed at times in that Minnesota series that he was a rookie novice coach. Come on, man. You didn't play Jackson Hayes, your center, no time. I mean, I know he's not a big kid, but he's about 6'11", and he can jump. You still would have had a center in there that can maybe oppose Rudy Gobert and hold down the middle a little bit, because literally you had Rudy Gobert going against Jared Vanderbilt, Rui Hachimura, and, you know, the other kid that came with, what's the kid that came from the Dallas Mavericks with Luka Doncic? I just mentioned his name. But anyway, you had them three people trying to hold down. The one kid is 6'7". The other kid is about 6'8". That's not going to make it. At least Jackson Hayes was 6'11". You know, he could jump. And Luka Doncic is used to throwing alley-oops. One of the big things that when the Mavericks played the Boston Celtics, that they shined and they was doing great the game or two they got against the Boston Celtics, or the games that in the championship, or the periods that they won against the Boston Celtics, because it was very few to none, but they was running and throwing alley-oops. Oh, Finney Smith. Yeah, Finney Smith, that kid. So Finney Smith, Rui Hachimura, and Jared Vanderbilt trying to match up down low against Rudy Gobert. The NBA Defensive Player of the Year, all defensive player first team, and Rudy Gobert is about 7'1", 7'2", and big with a wingspan. LA has answers that they have to address. I don't know if LeBron going to come back, because I have been hearing through the word on the street, KD wants out of Phoenix. Maybe him and LeBron might try to do a last little mission together and get with a good team that's have potential to win a championship and make a run that way. Because LeBron has teamed up with Carmelo. LeBron has teamed up with D. Wade. LeBron has teamed up with a minute even Shaq. LeBron has teamed up with some stars. You know, LeBron has teamed up with Kyrie Irving. But will LeBron James and KD team up for one last hurrah? Because, you know, KD is on the tail end of his career too. But KD still would have something in the tank if he has another superstar, or he has pieces around him to help him. Because I think definitely he's up out of Phoenix. He done had enough. Well, it'll be interesting to see what's going on, you know. Or could LA some way move some people around, get KD to come to LA and play with LeBron and Luka. Of course, we all know who LeBron said he would love to play with. And they just right down the street from him. He said he would love to play with Steph Curry, and go on to playing with Steph Curry, you know, the babyface assassin. That means he would get to play with Draymond. And I can see Draymond, Steph, and LeBron playing, because now LeBron has people that can play defense. LeBron James ain't the defensive player that he used to be, but he'll get up now and then and make a great defensive block or big steal or whatever. So, OffSeason for the Los Angeles Lakers and the Dallas Mavericks. Now one of them is winning the championship. Now one of them is going to raise a banner. But for this 2025 campaign, all that has went through in the NBA, and we don't know who gonna win the Larry O'Brien Award. The favorites to get to the finals is possibly the OKC Thunder versus the Boston Celtics, so either one of them. But people will go out this year knowing one thing, and they will say two teams straight up no matter what happens. Los Angeles Lakers, Dallas Mavericks. And your question is why? The Luka Doncic for the Anthony Davis trade. OffSeason for the Los Angeles Lakers and the Dallas Mavericks. We will see. 2 cents, 2 pennies, my